Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. How is everyone? Oh, let me turn this on there. Boom. Got to record. Got to record the show. Then I got to put my show glasses on so I could see. Look at me. I'm a mess. There we go. Welcome, everybody, the Anthony Cumia Show. Glad you could tune in. We do appreciate it. And plenty going on. Oh my goodness gracious! If you were, if you've been going to the airport, I pity you. That's a big thing. I guess this bill that the Democrats won't agree to, and then the Democrats' bill that the Republicans won't agree to. It's Schumer's closure. It's Schumer's the reason you're online at the airport. No, it's Trump. Trump is the reason you're online at the airport waiting to get through TSA. You know, I've read both. I tend to go in the direction that it's the Democrats' fault here, just because they're supposed to fund and finance Homeland Security. That's part of our Homeland Security thing. TSA, Coast Guard, Border Patrol, ICE, and the Democrats just want to fund TSA. So they're, holding America hostage because they don't want to fund agencies they don't like ICE and the Border Patrol. Now the Republicans say, no, we want everything funded. We need it all funded. All Homeland Security. We can't just pick and choose, the TSA at the airports because those other agencies not getting paid, that's a big problem too. And so that seems to make more sense. I don't like the idea that the Democrats aren't signing a bill because they don't agree with funding the agencies that the president, the House, and the Senate, the majority anyway, the House and the Senate, they want to put in place. They've put them in place. They're there. It's not like they don't exist and they're trying to create ICE or the Border Patrol. They exist. This is the president that was elected, and he and the rest of the country want this funded. And the Democrats are like, nope, just TSA. That's a bunch of crap right there. That's so typical. So typical. And they'll pull the same garbage. They'll have bills that are important, that need to be passed to keep the government running. And then they'll throw some nonsense in there, some liberal program or some illegal alien protection thing. And the Republicans will go, no. But that is different. They're not just coming up with something that they want to appropriate new money for. It's not some new plan that the Democrats have to open the border or whatever their agenda always is. Mutilation surgery for children. This is funding agencies that are up and running. They're there. They need funding. And the Democrats are not doing it. And in the interim, oh boy, if you have to fly in or out of an airport, wowie, kazowie, are you having a hell of a time. If you got to, we're open to any airport horror stories or anything else that we talk about tonight. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222 to contribute to the program. And, the fear mongers on the left, the Democrats, they always want to make it sound like if you don't do what they say, that there's a chance you will be murdered. That's the Democrats. At every turn. Oh, my God. Climate change, an existential threat. Here's how many will die if we don't give tons of money to this nonsensical climate change program. It's always death and destruction. So Donald Trump decided that he wanted to hand over some of the TSA duties to ICE. ICE is doing their job. They're out there rounding up illegals. And, they could be used for other things, right? Am I right here? They could be used for other things. So why not? Why not airport security? Checking people. Doesn't look that hard. I fly a lot, and I see what the TSA does, and I got to tell you, doesn't look that difficult. Yelling at the people to take their laptops out of their bag. No, I mean leave it in. No, take it out. And then, with the exception of recently, shoes. Remember that? Take your shoes off. Take them off. Put those in different bins. Take that jacket off. Do you have your wallet in your pants? It doesn't seem that. It's like running a kindergarten class. You just got to keep telling the children what they're supposed to do and not do. So Donald Trump has said that he wants to deploy ICE to the airports. The plan is tomorrow. This starts tomorrow amid the Department of Homeland Security funding fight if Democrats don't immediately sign an agreement. Trump warned that ICE agents will do security like no one has ever seen before. He's always got that like no one's ever seen before. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be great. Including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come to the U.S. with heavy emphasis on those from Somalia. You gotta love them. This is, you're going to miss this guy. You're going to miss this guy when he's done being president. Democrats don't think he will be done. They'll think he's going to try to hang on to that job, stick around for a while. But that's funny, with heavy emphasis on those from Somalia. Now, this is a great move. This is a funny, smart move. Oh, really? You don't want to sign the TSA bill to fund the entire Homeland Security? All right. Let's put the worst possible law enforcement agency in to replace them. The worst possible as far as Democrats are concerned. You know, we've seen the protests. We've seen the politicians yelling and screaming. They're the worst thing ever. It could put, why not National Guard? Could National Guard do that, you think? I think so. But Trump choosing ICE is a great screw you to the Democrats. And then to say not only will they be saying, no, put your hands up in the scanner, make sure you don't have that, okay, you're good, they will be doing their job as ICE. And at the airport, a lot of illegals do come in through the airport, and to put to put ICE agents in airports, and to have been forced to do that by the Democrats is a great strategy. That is a good one right there. Screw the Democrats, screw the left, screw the illegals. This handles everything. So they think that this, because ICE has had to dispatch a couple of people that were attempting to kill ICE agents, or at least threatened them to the point where they thought their lives were in danger and took appropriate response. But because of that, of course, they're Democrats, they're liberals. They want to spread that word that there are going to be murders in the airport. I'm not kidding. This is Hakeem Jeffries, by the way. Hakeem Jeffries, always dependable to come up with something incredibly stupid. And he didn't miss this time either. Here's Hakeem talking about ICE at the airports and how dangerous it's going to be.
What's your response to what Tom Homan revealed here?
Well, good morning. Great to be with you. There are three things that have been true since Donald Trump and Republicans came back into power last January. Life is more expensive, life is more chaotic, and life is more extreme. The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them. We've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure in highly sensitive situations at airports across the country.
This is an insanity beyond all reason. Trying to equate, let's say, a woman driving an SUV into an ICE agent responding by dispatching that woman. Try to come up with that scenario in an airport. Rolling luggage. She was coming right at me with her rolling Samsonite. So I had to take her out at gate 15A. I don't see it, but Hakeem does. And there's a couple of other politicians that have spoken out and are fearful for Americans' lives if ICE gets in the airport. And we will talk about that. We'll take your calls. I see the phones are all lit up after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is indeed the Anthony Cumia Show. And we're talking about the cluster F at the airports. And who's to blame? You know, you go on social media, the Republicans, the Democrats. This is Trump's shutdown. This is Schumer's shutdown. It's all I know is some of the videos I'm seeing are giving me anxiety just sitting in my studio here. I couldn't imagine when you come up that escalator at the airports. You know, you go in the front door. Your Uber driver hopefully got you there in time, and you go through the front door, and then all gates upstairs. You got to take the escalator up, and that's where you see the line, the security line. And right when you pop your head up, if it's kind of crowded, you're just like, damn it. To me, this is valuable time better spent in the lounge or sitting at one of the bars at the airport. And just standing on that zigzag line like you're waiting for a Space Mountain is very frustrating. And all you're doing is looking ahead of you for who's screwing up. You need You need someone to blame. When you get up to the, this is another thing that just gets me. These days, they've gotten pretty efficient with how to load up those trays. It's not just one at a time. There's a line of like 5 empty slots with 5 trays. And people will stand there while there are 3 empty slots that they could walk up to and wait for the person at the first slot to get done. Like they're waiting online. People do not know what to do at airports. They're afraid to take that chance and go, should I just walk around these 2 people that are loading their stuff in and go to the other bay or the other one or the other one? And they constantly got to, hey, come here. Step up. Right here, right here. That's what ICE would be doing. Not gunning down a family going to Orlando. Much to Hakeem Jeffries' chagrin. That wouldn't be happening. So it's terrible anyway, going to the airport if the security line is of any length. To go in and see what is happening. I've seen videos of the line to get through security goes downstairs to the baggage carousels. And they're weaving in and out of the baggage carousels to get upstairs to then weave in and out of the ropes to get on there. 3-4 hour waits. My flight from New York to Greenville, South Carolina, is an hour and 40 minutes. 1 hour, 40 minutes with the wind blowing the right way. And I couldn't fathom waiting longer, standing for a longer period of time on that security line than the entire flight would take. I would go crazy. I would be one of those YouTube videos where the cops are dragging me out, yelling, naked, drunk, again. So it's absolutely crazy. And if I look here, oh, there it is. Yeah, so Chuck Schumer is another one. Old Chucky Schumer. He doesn't like the idea of ICE taking part in airport security. Here's what he says. And listen to the words. Untrained ICE agents lurking at our airports is asking for trouble, and it will make the chaos at our airports worse. Everything he said there is a lie. Every single thing he said is a lie and manipulating. He's using certain words to try to conjure up fear. Try to conjure up some fear in the people. Untrained ICE agents. All right, again, you've been through security. You know what it's all about. Do you think you can't do that job? How long do you think it would take to get a ICE agent to learn how to do that? I've seen some of these TSA agents. Believe me, Atlanta, when you go through Atlanta, the people on TSA detail in Atlanta, I don't even think they know where they are. Never mind what to look for or telling people what they can't bring through security. So I don't know, an ICE agent, even an untrained ICE agent, I think I have a little more faith in them than what I've seen at TSA of late, especially. But lurking, like they're going to be peering around corners. It sounds like they're going to be skulking, if I could use that word. I'm surprised he didn't. Skulking around the women's bathroom, trying to get a peek. That's what lurking sounds like. If you're working, you're not lurking. I think that's a good rule of thumb to follow. He thinks if the ICE agents are there, they're just going to be lurking around. No, they're going to be working in place of TSA agents. And it will make the chaos at our airports worse. How? Have you seen the videos? Can you imagine the TSA agents that aren't there, the manpower shortage that they have at the airports so they can't get these people through fast enough, replacing them with law enforcement agents, and somehow there's going to be more chaos? I don't see it. I think it'll move just as quickly and efficiently as the brain-dead TSA that are usually there. Now, if you're talking about the part where illegals come in and somehow, I don't even know how this would be done. It could just be a bluff on Trump's part, because I don't know how they would even identify an illegal coming in. It's not like you have to show your ID or ticket when you leave the airport. Maybe the TSA guy phones ahead to the airport the illegal's going to and says, pick this guy up when he gets there. So they're not making a big commotion or tying up the line for the TSA for people that are leaving for their flights. That might work. I don't know. It just doesn't seem, it seems like something Trump would say, hey, how about it? ICE will be there. Let's pick up a few of these illegals while we're at it. So that's Chuck Schumer's. And as I go down the comments on Chuck Schumer's post on social media, I wonder if he reads the responses, the replies to his posts. Every single one of them is just hate, disdain. They rag on him about every single thing he does. There's a picture of him pointing at a big line at the airport saying, I did this. There's not one positive comment about what he did. Ground Chuck. Get it? Chuck Schumer. And he's grounded people. It's a chop meat reference. Oh, the old New York Post and their headlines. Amazing. Headless body found at topless bar. That was one of the big, that was one of the greatest New York Post headlines ever. Headless body at topless bar. Yeah. So, these guys like Hakeem and Chuck Schumer trying to scare people, trying to make it seem like if ICE gets in there, they're just going to go in and pull their weapons out. I don't even think you're allowed to carry your weapon. I certainly don't see TSA agents with weapons on them. I see the police in there in the airports, and they have their weapons with them. Maybe security, but TSA agents aren't armed. So I think if ICE is taking over TSA's detail, they wouldn't be armed. So I guess they'd have to choke. They'd have to choke out the passengers. And maybe that's how they do it. So Hakeem and Chuck could be right. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and why don't we go to the phones and start it off with what looks like it could be a little hostility here. Nate, Rhode Island, what's up?
No hostility, Ant. I'm a big fan, buddy.
Thank you, my friend.
I mean, yes, lots of hostility.
Okay.
But I am a little concerned, man. I'm just like, I'm a little depressed, to be honest with you. I had to be a closet Trump supporter for so long. I'm 32, and I live in Rhode Island, so my circle is not accommodating.
Right.
I just wouldn't have been able to get through life. I know I'm kind of a coward for it, but I'm so depressed. When he won in 2024, I was screaming in my truck on the way to work. So
we all were, right?
The only place. Oh, I'm sorry. I just swore. I forgot where I was. I'll wait for it. Sorry,
we
buddy.
were all screaming. I know. I get it. We were all very, very happy that after all the crap that happened from 2020 to 2024, that he emerged victorious.
Yes. I'll keep it topical because I know you're talking about the airports. How can you imagine that ICE is going to do a good job at all, dude? I mean, I think we're up to just over 500,000 deportations in the last year. These guys are a joke, and Trump is not doing anything to.
Look, Nate, did you listen to what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they're the greatest people to take over TSA's job temporarily. I'm saying how easy and dumb TSA agents are that anyone could replace them with, I give you 2 days, and that's for a real dummy. 2 days of training, maybe longer if you're the person that has to look at the machine and see what's in the carry-on luggage. And there are still enough TSA agents working where you could still have those people. I'm talking the guy that waves you forward. Put your shoes or put your bag in here. Put your coat in here. ICE can't do that? Of course they can.
Well, I mean, of course they can. But look, I mean, Trump tried to privatize defrauding the government with Doge. I mean, kind of, not really, but
no, it was
why not privatize it? Like, I don't understand why. Like, whatever government entity does it is going to suck at it.
Yeah.
And they've really proven that they suck at their job. I mean, they're going to catch illegals at the airport. How many illegals are coming in on a plane?
Well, that's just it.
Honestly,
I said, I think that's Trump, kind of trolling a little bit. You know how he does that?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, while they're there, maybe they could pick up a few illegals, especially Somalis. Like, that's classic Trump. It's just what he's going to do. The thing is, ICE, if ICE isn't doing a good job, the only way I see that they're not deporting enough people. They're not deporting enough people because they're not allowed to do what really needs to be done. Round them up, get them out without any of this activist judge it. Well, they got a lot of flack from the other side. Everything they do, judge activist Democrat appointed judges come forward and go, can't do that. And then it's got to go through the system. And if it gets kicked up to the Supreme Court goes, no, they can do that. But you've wasted so much time, and that's so many illegals that aren't out of the country. It would be, I would like to see a far worse scenario with ICE getting illegals out than what's going on now. And by worse, I mean better.
That's why it's a little depressing. It's because it's like, all right, well, I mean, I just heard that Trump just said, like, we're not using the mass deportations word anymore. And it's like,
I know.
Why? I mean, I don't know. I'm worried that he's checking out again, and it's such a drag, dude.
No, I get you. There is a lot of frustration.
I knew we were talking about the airport, so I wanted to try to keep it topical.
I hear you. No, it's all good. Whatever your opinion is about anything we talk about on this show, chime on in. Thank you, Nate. I do appreciate the call. I like what Trump is doing. There are some things I have huge problems with. I don't think anybody, unless you're as crazy as the left, but you're on the right, unless you're that person, I don't think there's anybody that is 100% satisfied with what Donald Trump is doing in every aspect of his presidency. The but is coming in. But Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, that was your option. Whatever you think about Donald Trump and what he's doing, what he isn't doing, who he seems to be in cahoots with, who he's a puppet of. He's a puppet of Israel. He's Putin's puppet. He's this, he's that. You really have to look at the option. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And even though the deportations are going way, way slower than I would like it, and I think a lot of other Americans would like it to go, that border would still be as wide open, if not more so, than it was under the Biden administration. Is that what you wanted? Is that the option? Yeah, when he was elected, we all cheered. Great, Trump's back in. Let's see what he does. And it's not 100%. It's not like, damn, I wanted to see this. I didn't want to see this. We'll get talking about the Iranian situation there in a little bit. Boy, you talk about heating up. You talk about a heating up. My God. This is a lot of uncertainty. And it's screwing with the market. The stock market's all kablooey because uncertainty and the stock market don't go well together. This is driving up energy costs because it's the Middle East. The Straits of Hormuz, oil goes through there, and there's all kinds of threats now about if the straits aren't opened. And like I said, we'll get to that in a little bit. But Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, and if you don't think they would have done certain strategic military action that their handlers would have told them to do, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I read something that was quite stunning the other day. Jimmy Carter was the last president that didn't bomb some other place. Jimmy Carter. He was elected in 1976, the bicentennial of the United States. And he was the last president that didn't bomb another country. And by the way, I think that's only because the rescue of the hostages in Iran failed. There was a huge problem with that. That really made Carter look terrible, too. Oh, we're going to rescue our hostages. And then they go in and the helicopters crash in the middle of the desert and airmen are killed. It was just a disaster. And who knows if the copters didn't crash, who knows what a disaster it would have been if they actually got to these compounds where these hostages were, and they were all split up at that point in different areas. And who knows if that would have been a massacre. But, I digress. Looking at presidents that haven't bombed anything, Jimmy Carter, every other president has taken some type of military action on another country. And with what we saw with Obama was a huge fan of bombing the crap out of Middle Eastern nations. Huge. He dropped a lot of bombs. And that's kind of where we're at. So you don't think Kamala, and if you think Kamala Harris was going to run a Kamala Harris White House, you think that was going to be her presidency? Ms. Harris, we'd like to speak with you here. This is what you're going to do as president. I'm not going to do any such thing. And then, they show her the 20 different HD angles of JFK being shot. 20 different camera angles. So, yeah. I'm not saying you can't say definitely for anything because it didn't happen. But if you don't think Kamala Harris would have gone in somewhere and started throwing bombs down, you're nuts. You're crazy. I wanted to finish up one thing with the airports before we go to break. Little Dickie Blumenthal. How this guy has any, I don't even know if he has credibility, quite frankly, but how he's able to even show his face. This is the guy I fought in Vietnam guy. I was in combat in Vietnam, and it turned out he wasn't. I think stolen valor is not only a terrible thing to do, just a horrible thing to do. It's you're dishonoring the men that actually went into combat and wore that uniform. It's also the most embarrassing embarrassing thing. I have a hard time watching stolen valor videos on YouTube and whatnot. And it's not because it degrades our military and our brave soldiers who wear the war uniform. It's so cringe to watch when they get tripped up. One thing you'll notice about military people, they know everything about what they did, where they were, their rank, their MOS, they know everything because they had to. Like everything, if you're in the military, everything is driven into your head. You better know. And there's no forgetting unless you're, a World War II soldier that's maybe going through a little dementia later in life. But you'll notice your Army friends, your Marine friends, they know every aspect. And then they catch these guys. And the reason they catch them is because they're wearing something they wouldn't be wearing. Some of their medals are wrong. Their rank is wrong. Something just doesn't look right. And these military guys walk up to them in an airport. They turn on their phone and start recording. And I swear it is some of the toughest things to watch. These guys just trying to save themselves. And the embarrassment. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And Richard Blumenthal is one of those guys. Fought in Vietnam, and then he didn't. How embarrassing. You're in Washington. Go to the Vietnam Veterans or the Vietnam Memorial. Go there. Read the 59,000 names on there. Those are guys that went to Vietnam. They didn't come back. They were in combat. And this guy tries to, he must have BS'd his friends and his family for so long, his whole life, that he thinks he could get into public life and spew lies, and it's not going to be picked up. Oh, boy. So Dick Blumenthal, this is almost verbatim to what Hakeem Jeffries said. Because that's what happens. They get a script from their handlers on how to deal with certain political situations, and they read it like the puppets they are. So Dick Blumenthal said, ICE agents at airports will only aggravate delays and lines. Again, how? Adding more people that can say, move along, grab a tray, do this. And then you take the TSA agents that were doing that, or the ones that are out that would have done that, and you put them on the x-ray machine and some of the jobs that might take more training for a smarter TSA agent maybe. And so how does that delay things? Is the ICE agent going, what is that called? It's called a bag. Your bag. Put your bag in the tray. Oh, I keep forgetting to say bag. Look at the line. It's all backed up because I can't remember bag in the tray. Delay lines, disrupting checks, interrogating travelers. When are travelers going to be interrogated? Again, the illegal thing. They'll be at the airport rounding up illegals. I think that was a Trump troll. But if it is going to be something, I don't think they're just going to start interrogating that family coming back from skiing. Interrogating travelers, dragging parents from children. That is my favorite of Dick Blumenthal. Dragging parents from children. Now, if you have to check on, or if you have to do a pat down, they saw something in the x-ray machine and they got to pat you down, and your child was in front of you and they walk ahead, they've just separated you from your child. Isn't that terrible? They do it all the time. Detaining citizens. They do that all the time, too. If something's a little fishy, they'll pull you aside. If it's really fishy, they might take you in the office and have a little chit-chat with you. Brutalizing families. Again, here's the family, Mickey ears. They're leaving Orlando to go back home to New York, let's say, and all the kids have their Disney gear on. There's a little girl. She's dressed like a princess. Look at that. The kids have Mickey ears, and a little Jedi is there too. And ICE is just punching them in the face, just legging them out. You're illegal. Do not. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. This is how Richard Blumenthal sees our airports with ICE and doing security. Brutalizing families, shooting and even killing citizens, travelers. That's Richard Blumenthal's J.O. fantasy that he has, I guess, at night, because that would be a dream come true, a creamy dream come true for Richard Blumenthal if ICE was just running rampant, lurking and shooting and beating citizens. That scenario, we didn't see that in Midnight Express. Remember that movie in Turkey? He got caught with hashish. They weren't that crazy in Midnight Express. The Turkish security in the 70s. but you know, ICE is going to run around and shoot people. Like, shoot them. That's what he's saying. He's saying this. He adds brutal, lawless tactics common in communities across the country by masked, unidentified agents violating basic rights. No way to help TSA or travelers. Again, it's, you know, a different situation. The National Guard was deployed during a lot of our military actions over the course of the years. They fought, they killed, they died. They've also rendered aid during times of national emergency, hurricanes, earthquakes, and they handed out water and food. Did anyone worry that because the National Guard did that on one of their missions, one of their jobs, that they would mow down and blow up and murder people they were helping with food and water after an emergency? That's really what Richard Blumenthal is saying here. Because ICE does this, well, they're incapable of doing that without choking out a dad in front of his family. Insane. Who votes for these people? Who consistently votes for these people? Okay, we'll take more of your calls and a lot more of the show next.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and right to the phones, this is Eric from Orlando. What's up, Eric?
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Hey, hanging out, Sunday night.
Amen. Well, there's basically 24 airports in the United States, and even SFO over in San Francisco is using the privatized security, which is, government contracted. Now, as you know, they're still up and running just fine, and they're trained just as much as the TSA is, and they're paid just as well as they are. The only difference is they just don't get a government pension. Not to mention, they can't cancel their pay because it's a contract. So if they say 5 years is what you get paid, you can't not pay them until the contract runs out. That's why they're still working. Even Orlando Stanford International has it.
Why wouldn't every airport do that?
Exactly. It would probably
who
be
pays,
a smarter
who pays
idea.
them? Does the airport pay them?
No, it's funded through the government, through government contracts.
So if the government's paying them anyway, like they pay the TSA, I think any airport would like to have people that aren't TSA. I mean, look, we joke about the TSA, but they aren't the brightest bunch.
No, they aren't. In fact, years ago when I was going back to Germany, I was going through JFK in 2012. I had my briefcase, I had my laptop, and they stopped me like 3 times within 10 minutes, and I almost missed my flight to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't seem to be in much of a hurry. There's mistakes that are made. And, a lot of them, they don't look like they could run very fast. Never mind walk some of your stuff over to the area to get a better look at it. Very obese, a very rotund bunch of people working for the TSA. But, what the hell? I can't even remember what we did before the TSA. Like, what was it? Was it just private airport security?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they would just have people that worked at the airport, and their job was security, and then, 9/11 screwed all that up, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, boy. All right. Oh, by the way, your airport down there in Orlando, what a pain in the... I don't like the train.
Oh, it's bad.
I don't like having to take a train to a different... to the gate area. You get in, and then you check your bags, and then you got to take the train to your gate, and then you got to wait. You got to go past other gates first and stop. I never liked that. Sorry.
Yeah, and so you have to go through the C terminal, which is the international, but I go through Orlando Sanford International. It's smaller, but it's much less of a headache going through that.
Yeah. That's the call sign. That's the battle cry these days.
And they don't have TSA easier. There either. They got the private. They got the private security.
I've never seen the private security. Never seen it. All right, I'll have to look. Thank you, Eric. Maybe Eric's full of crap. Maybe he's talking out his where. But he sounded legit. Airports having private security, but they're government contracted. Then why have TSA? I don't get it. Let's go. We'll take another call over here. Chris, East Moriches, New York. What's up, Chris?
How you doing, Anthony? I just want to preface this call by saying your ability of objectivity is just a gift, okay?
Oh.
I mean, you see things with your own two eyes, and you're just you're the best thing this radio station is seeing on a Sunday night in a long time,
I appreciate hearing that, sir. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so anyway, with these Democrats, they're rabble-rousing. They're causing an uproar. I was just wondering, when is the protest going to happen at JFK or Atlanta?
Oh, God, that's right.
I'm just trying to project into the future what's going to happen,
Chris, what a great point, because you hear these politicians like Schumer and Blumenthal talking about how it's going to make matters worse and the lines will be even worse. You bring up a scenario where that is absolutely possible, because
I
protesters,
hate being a doomsday scroller, but this is what
I
see,
protesters that'll protest ICE will now be at the airports mucking up the works.
And get this, my wife is flying to Poland next week out of JFK, and she's pooping her panties about what's going to happen. And I said, well, okay, there's going to be some ICE agents there. And then as I walked away, I said, there's probably going to be a bunch of a-hole protesters there too,
Yeah. I was supposed to be in New York this weekend. I was offered to go to New York. They asked me to fill in and do the morning show, do Sid's show for Friday and Monday. So I was going to fly in Thursday. And then I'm looking around and going, flying out of Greenville isn't a problem at all. That's, clear, smooth sailing. It's a small airport, very nice. But having to fly out of LaGuardia on Tuesday, all I was seeing were videos of LaGuardia and Kennedy and Atlanta and Chicago. And I'm like, I cannot do this.
I know. It's just, I see the S show unfolding, ahead of time, but that's just the way it is. And this is, and people say it's Trump's fault. It is absolutely not Trump's fault. It's the Democrat Party. This is Schumer's shutdown. This is,
gotcha. Chris, I'm going to have to move on, but thank you for the call, man. Yeah. Protesters. Oh, what a nightmare that'll be. Ice out, ice out. And everybody's just backed up and they're mucking up the works. Ugh. All right, stick around. We will be back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in. And we're talking about airports and TSA, Homeland Security funding, the politicians on the left and the right that won't sign the bill because of this or that. It's just a recipe for screw the American people. It's really what it is. And even if you think one side or the other is responsible for it, the only people really paying the price are the American citizens that have to travel right now. Good luck. Good luck. But before the break, a caller was talking about the fact that ICE being brought into the airports to take over some of the duties of the TSA is going to attract these mental patient left-wing Antifa protesters who will only make the airport situation a lot worse. They will gum up the works, throw a monkey wrench in, and screw up everything. And lo and behold, I was looking through social media during the break, and I found this. Listen up.
You guys, I am live from the San Diego International Airport where Donald Trump is threatening to send ICE agents to work as TSA agents. When Donald Trump does not get his way, he uses tactics like this, you guys, to spread fear. He also mentioned that anybody traveling will be detained if they are undocumented. So make sure you guys are staying in the loop with your local rapid response as well as myself, because I will be covering the ICE agent activity around the airport as this unfolds.
Oh, my God. Rapid response. I'll be covering this. Yeah. That is what's going to happen. That is, you're going to get a bunch of those people. You heard what he sounded like. Sounded like he could fly without an airplane. Mm-hmm. Tinkerbell. But, yeah, that's what's going to happen. ICE will be in there, and wherever ICE goes, these idiots show up to screw everything up. Oh, my God. Good luck traveling, man. Good luck. Oh, here it is. Sandra, how are you?
Oh, Anthony, I was thinking why I like listening to you, because you know it's true. You make light of things. You make my anxiety a little less. You put a little humor into all the garbage that's going around.
We try, yes. I don't like just
that.
Yeah, I don't like just this breaking out the horrible news on a daily basis without injecting a little bit of humor into the humorless situations we find ourselves in, Sandra.
I do love that, and I thank you for that. So two things are on my mind. I think just the opposite. I think having the ICE people there, they have like a stigma thanks to the other side. All the American people who travel now will see these guys are nice. What the fuck are they talking about? They're nice
Oops,
people.
You cursed. You just said the F word, Sandra. You little potty mouth. Sandra's got a little potty mouth on her. And the big one, the F-bomb. Good one, Sandra.
I apologize, everybody. I didn't mean it. But I mean, they're making a big deal. These people are probably so nice, and we all will now get a chance to see them and mingle with them and see.
What a great point that is before you drop the F-bomb, is that they will be with people, with travelers, with Americans walking through airports, and then to see how pleasant and nice they are and how willing to help. Because TSA, I mean, it's a good move.
I think it's
I like it.
On his part. And then one other thing I want to mention, thank you. Don't forget, a nice thing, Elon Musk. You see how he likes Trump? He's going to help if he needs to be, if it's necessary. So there you go.
Yeah, he said he would foot the bill and start paying TSA agents, but I don't know what the legality or protocol for that would be. But I think he's sincere in it. He's got enough money.
And just the thought that he wants to help is very, very nice. It just shows you he likes Trump.
Yeah. Sandra, what type of soap do you use?
Okay. Dr. Perry, who's on 710, every Saturday night has a skincare, a few things. And I use his soap, and I love his soap.
What is it called? What is it called?
I think it's called, I have to look at the box. I don't even know the name. Let me go take a quick look.
No, you don't have to. I was just going to
I think
suggest.
it's probably called Soap Time. Probably Soap
Why
Time.
don't you take a bar of it and shove it in your potty mouth so you don't curse on my show again, Sandra. All right, take care now. There she goes. There's potty mouth Sandra. What a long way to go for the soap in the mouth joke, but she won't just say. I expected, what soap do you use? Dove. All right. Put it in your mouth because you're a potty mouth. Well, the doctor, he's on this show, and I use his soap. I'm like, oh, my God, you're ruining my little joke there. Anyway, Sandra's very nice, pleasant woman that listens and calls in on this program. Let's see. There was anything else on this stupid airport stuff? Oh, there's another call about ICE. That's Matt. Matt in New Hampshire. What's up?
Hey, I love it. Thank you. We don't do that hamster stuff up here, man. I wanted to piggyback on what that fella from Rhode Island was talking about, and it's disappointing. It's kind of like a smoke and mirrors show. Now, you wouldn't picture the northern tier of New Hampshire, the northernmost county, to be a hotbed of ICE activity. However, they rounded up recently about at least a half a dozen people that had overstayed their work visas, a lot of tourist areas up here, and they call foreigners to come work in the hotels and restaurants for short periods of time, and then once your visa is up, you got to go back, or you can apply for an extension or whatever, what have you.
Oh, all right.
Well, So I'm in touch with the local police here. I'm friendly with them. I live in a small town. So come to find out, some of them had outstanding DUIs, right? Like as if we don't have enough drunk driving American citizens. Now we have to import them from the third world.
And they really are bad at drunk driving. They drive drunk. They wind up hurting and killing people, not just maybe wrapping your car around a pole or something.
Well, so lucky for us up here, I live in a very small, it's a large town, but sparsely populated as far as the indigenous people that actually live here, not the people that are on work visas. But at any rate, so the local police came to round up a handful of them because they didn't show up for their DWI dates. And in the meantime, they swept up another handful of them. This is right in my neighborhood, and when I say neighborhood, I use that as a loose term in the area that I live. Like I said, it's sparsely populated, but and they rounded up, probably about maybe a dozen of these foreign nationals. There were more just outside of my neighborhood that I'm aware of, but
then what happened?
And
Matt?
ICE was involved because not only were there DWIs involved, but every single one of these people had overstayed their visas. They worked for the large hotel here, I won't mention, here in my town, a very large, very well-known, world-renowned. And so they were gone for about a month, and all of them returned except for the drunks that they rounded up. Obviously, they had to send them back. So they brought them down to the processing facility in southern New Hampshire, and all of these people were back within a month. So when I say it's a smoke and mirrors show, I kind of agree with that guy, once again, from Rhode Island. They're not really doing everything that they say that they're doing, and it's not all a show, and I'm glad that they took these drunks away and hopefully deported them back to where they came from. But I am also disappointed, and I kind of want to see not just more of deportations, but more action as far as if you overstayed your visa, then that's just as bad, and you really kind of need to go. And one more thing, Ant, before you
lonely
go,
up
I wanted
there
to tell
in
you
New
last
Hampshire.
time we spoke. I love your Jesse Ventura, man, and I listen to it every time.
Thank you, sir.
I love when you
Thank
bring it
you
up.
for
man.
your service.
You have him. He's spot on. So love you, man, and take care.
All right. Hey, what kind of soap do you use, Matt? Because when you're telling a story, shove it in your mouth. He took the long way. You realize people from New York, big cities, you don't realize that a lot of times people from smaller towns, villages, they take the long way around Because once you're done with your story, what do you got left? What's going on in your life after the story? In places like New York, you ramble out the story pretty quickly because I got to catch a train. I'm a busy man. No, well, thank you so much. I do appreciate the very long call. It really was like, hey, they rounded up a bunch of people. They rounded some up for DWIs and then some of them for overstaying their visa. But the DWI people were deported and they stayed deported, while the other people, they were back in a month. Literally the story. But it's okay. It's okay. You know, I love people. I love our listeners and our callers, so never fear. New Hampshire. I used to frequent that place when I was up in Boston, Massachusetts. It's such a New England is a strange little place. Every corner of the country has its own little personality and everything. But man, is that New England just an odd place. Odd little accents and their the way they do things, their lifestyle. Not Boston so much anymore. I was watching some old clips of Boston. Oh, man. They wouldn't think of having an Asian woman mayor, even just a few years back. It was, oh, boy, was it a different place. You went to Southie in Boston? Oofa. You were going to hear some stuff. The North End with the Italians in Boston? Yep. That is gonzo. No more. All right, back in a flash with more of your calls and a lot more going on.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and what happened this week, this past week? Well, Robert Mueller. Mueller? Bueller? Robert Mueller died. Former head of the FBI. And most known for the Russian collusion nonsense that everyone was trying to pin on Trump a few years back. You want to talk about stuff that's been debunked? That's really the thing. There are other things people talk about, the Epstein files, and they go, oh, why are they redacted? Why don't they just put out the files? It's because Trump is in there thousands of times and that and the other thing, and he did this and that. And there's been no charges, no real there's been plenty of allegations, but nothing reliable. A lot of these things on the Epstein, people in the Epstein files were at parties with him. Epstein had a notification for Trump on his email. So anytime Trump was in the news, which was all the time, he would get a notification in his email. And that is Donald Trump mentioned in Epstein's email 10,000 times. So a lot of those things. And I'm not saying, look, I don't know. I don't know what I first of all, I don't know why Biden and company would have kept anything that implicated Trump in something as heinous as child sex trafficking. You would think that would have come out in an instant if they were trying to prevent Trump from winning again. Biden's got the White House and access to all these things, the Epstein files. And you don't think they pawed through those to see if there was anything legitimate against Trump? They tried killing him, for God's sake. You'd think coming up with some dirt from the Epstein files would have been something huge. So whenever people mention, oh, it's a distraction from the Epstein files, that's why we're bombing Iran. It's a distraction, the Epstein, this, Epstein. what was going on during the Biden administration. If anyone could tell me, then I'd be a little more apt to think, well, maybe there is something there. But if Biden couldn't put it out because of this, or this, but he could. He had full access to every Epstein file there is, and not one peep about Donald Trump or anything he did. Now that Trump's in, suddenly he's hiding something. How do you hide something that was completely open to the people that you're hiding it from? That I just don't understand. But, well, I understand it. They're liars, and they're trying their best to throw a monkey wrench into Trump's works, and they think that'll do it. Everything he does is an excuse or some type of smokescreen for the Epstein files. But back in the Russia collusion lying days, that came to the surface, and it was determined that never happened. There was no collusion between Russia and Trump to give Trump the presidency in 2016. Did not happen. Absolutely disproven. As a matter of fact, any collusion was being done on the parts of the Democrats trying to make it look like Donald Trump was colluding with the Russians. But we've been through that. The new update of this is the guy that was one of the leaders of this nonsense was Robert Mueller. Mueller from the FBI. And while he failed in getting Trump thrown out of office after his 2016 election and arrested and prosecuted for Russian collusion, they tried. Remember the impeachment and all that? They tried. So he dies the other day, Robert Mueller. And Donald Trump puts out a statement. And let me just get it just to make sure I get it correctly. I don't want to read it. I don't want to paraphrase. There it is. No, all right. That guy. Where is he? Oh, well. Well, he pretty much said, I'm glad he's dead. He said this way he can't hurt more innocent people. It wasn't a nice rest in peace, Bob, from Donald Trump. And oh my goodness, the clowns, they came out of the woodwork saying this is why we despise Donald Trump. This isn't my president. A president wouldn't say things like this. Well, good. Good Donald Trump wouldn't act like a president when addressing the death of Robert Mueller. You know why? Because if you're not saying what Trump said, you're lying. You're being very dishonest. I like the fact that Trump said, yeah, don't rest in peace. Good. He died. Good. He's not going to be able to hurt any more innocent people. And here's why. Any one of these liars that got all flustered, did a little pearl clutching about Trump saying that when Mueller died, what would you have done if there was somebody who tried their hardest to destroy you? Everything. Destroy your career, destroy your legacy, take away every dime you have to your name, get you thrown out of the presidency, and make you exile you from society. People who have been canceled because they've said naughty things, racial things, or things about people's sexuality, and they've been canceled. They've had that happen to them. And it sucks. But think of what a smaller scale that is than the president of the United States with the opposition trying to take you down for nothing more than political reasons, trying to destroy you and your life, your finances, everything, because they don't like that you won the presidency. They don't like that the American people spoke up and said, F you, we're going with this guy. I like the way he talks. I like what he said. I like the way you talk. And that's what happened. So any one of you, if somebody tried that to you and your family, calling in your sons and your daughter to testify in this perjury trap that they're running, someone does that and then they die a few years later and you're busted up about it? Well, you don't have to say it. Yeah, you do. That's called honesty. That's called Trump being a real guy. Some guy tries to screw you and your family over like that to that extent. Yeah, but I don't want to speak ill. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. Yeah, I kind of like that in a person, that type of honesty. And you'd all be thinking it, at least. Some of you would probably be saying it, but you'd all be thinking, oh, God, good. What a piece of garbage that guy was. Tried to destroy me. So, the holier than thou attitude that these liberal Democrat, the politicians, again, the Democrats, anything they can do to try to make Trump look bad. Oh, he looks bad just saying that. Maybe some people find it repulsive. Some people actually find it repulsive, not politically repulsive just because he's Donald Trump and you're a Democrat. I could understand that, but I could also understand Donald Trump saying it because of what this piece of garbage tried to do to him and his family. So, yeah, appropriate response on the part of Donald Trump. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Hope you're having a pleasant Sunday evening. I am so liking the lighter, later thing. I'm a lighter, later guy. I think most people are. Weren't they talking about keeping that daylight savings time? Weren't they talking about like just making it a thing? I think it's so complicated to do, though. I think it's so ingrained and just the vines wrapped around the way this country works. I don't know. But I like it. Let's go to Larry in Staten Island. Larry, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, my brother, man? How you doing?
Good.
Listen, I got to ask you a request at the end of my comment.
Ask me anything.
Hold on to that. Listen, this guy, Morani, he reminds me of, you remember the Gong Show, the unknown comic?
Oh, yeah, the guy come out with the bag on his head. Chucky. Yeah,
that's it. This guy is the unknown comic of politics. A liar, thinks we're stupid. You know what? He's right about that. Most people who voted for him are stupid. But I'm talking about personally about the issue last week with his wife, where she commented and supported comments relative to Palestine against Israel. And he comes out with the bag on his head and says, well, my wife is a private person. Well, let me ask you something, Zoran. Your wife got police protection, NYPD? Yes. Your wife drive around an SUV, NYPD? Yes. Your wife have drivers, NYPD? Yes. You live in a house, the people's house? Yes. You're not a private person.
Bingo there, Larry. Absolutely. He wants her to have the private citizen life where no one can look into her past dealings and past social media posts, which have been very offensive in certain circles. And she just thinks she could wipe that clean, which they did. They deleted her social media accounts that had her praising the October 7th terrorists.
That's right.
And all of a sudden it's supposed to just go away. And he goes, well, she's a private citizen. Do you think if Melania Trump had a social media presence where she was saying stuff about any minority, black people or Indians or Pakistanis, whatever it is, do you think they'd just be like, well, she's kind of a private citizen? She's not the president.
Absolutely not.
No, they'd have crucified her. This is another double standard. She'll get away with it. He'll get away with it. Because, again, the people that would make a beef about that don't care. The people that elected him. Right. They don't care. They love that he's in there. They don't care. Even the Jews, the New York Jews don't even care. Is that a sports team, the New York Jews? Even the New York Jews don't care that his wife is an anti-Semite and she's posted about it. This is her mindset. And they still, they smile when Mandani comes to a synagogue to meet with them. And they all smile like they're not looking at a wolf that's drooling.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something, man. When he comes to our parade, the Columbus Day Parade, in October, and marching up Fifth Avenue like he did with the St. Patty's Day Parade.
Yep.
Wait till he gets to the end by the Columbus statue. I want to see him with that finger up, passing that statue.
Oh, Mingy.
Mingy, Tootie.
Yep. We'll see.
Now,
we will see.
I got to ask you one thing.
Go ahead, Larry.
You and I are Bob Grant supporters and admirers.
Loved him.
I want you to do a Bob Grant relative to 2026 Mandani. Go ahead.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to think on that one, Larry, because there's probably some good things you could do. What he used to do with Cuomo, the Svachim. Yeah, where's my digitalis? He was awesome, Larry. All right, brother. I gotta go, man. There he goes, Larry. I like Larry. Staten Island, the last bastion of any kind of common sense of the 5 boroughs. The other 4, sink them into the sea. Staten Island's the only one with people on it that have any common sense whatsoever. It's just a disaster. A disaster, I tell you. Let's see. Why don't we talk about Iran? Iran. This looks dodgy, doesn't it? Doesn't this look a little dodgy? This whole thing, there's threats going back and forth between whoever the hell is left over there in Iran and President Trump and our Secretary of War. And it doesn't seem to be cooling the air. I don't see this. I'm not hopeful for peace happening here. This is escalated. And, of course, the Straits of Hormuz, very important to export anything from the Middle East. Very, very important. And it just so happens Iran is right there, like Iran borders the strait. Iran's got this little, I can't describe it as any way, it's a peninsula, but it's like they're putting their penis right there in the straits. It's just this peninsula that jets out and goes, I dare you to whip around this thing. And they've been threatening shipping. There's been a couple of instances of ships being destroyed. And that is a very important waterway. Very important waterway. as far as especially oil goes. Oh, boy, you know how we love our oil. And Trump has said yesterday, he said he will give Iran 48 hours to get out of town. 48 hours to unblock and leave all the shipping alone. Like you're not even there, Iran. Leave it alone. No threats, no blocking shipping, no intercepting ships. You have 48 hours. And if you don't do that, Trump has stated, if you do not do that, we will blow up your your power plants. So all of your power plants, whichever ones are still on, I guess the lights are still on over there in Tehran. Tehran, Iran, greatest country in the world. I fought the Hulk Hogan at the Madison Square Garden. The Iron Sheik, I will humble you. That was all I knew about Iran back in the day, was the Iron Sheik. I'm like, do they all wear curly shoes? Let's just send Sergeant Slaughter over there. The old days. Wrestling was fun back then. There it is. Let's see. So Donald Trump, so he threatened their power plants. So then Iran said, and here's another Trump statement, the IRGC just stated that if we bomb Iran's power plants, they'll bomb desalination plants in the Gulf states. Don't do it. And then he's saying, don't do it. It would be a huge mistake. Huge. A majority of people in the Gulf states rely on these desalination plants for their daily drinking water. The level of death and suffering caused would be comparable to that of weapons of mass destruction. If the terrorist regime of Iran did that, we may have to respond with such weapons of our own. I pray I never have to do it. But if the lives of millions are at stake, I will not hesitate. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Now, what the hell does that mean? He will take that as them having used weapons of mass destruction, and we may have to respond with such weapons of our own. Weapons of mass destruction. Well, what do we have? We don't really have gas. That was outlawed way long ago. Maybe biological warfare where we could give them horrible diseases. I don't think we're allowed to do that either. I'll have to check with the UN and the Geneva Convention, but I think that's off limits. How about nuclear weapons? They're not illegal to use. We have plenty of them. I think Donald Trump is threatening to nuke Iran. Am I wrong here? I don't know. I don't think so. It sounds like a threat. Is it more Trump trolling? I don't think a president should troll with nuclear weapons. I like the other thing, saying, good, Robert Mueller's dead. That's good. Or the other thing, ICE is going to grab up some illegals while they're doing the TSA job at the airport. But then you add in, we're going to nuke Iran if they... That gets a little like, that sounds serious. And it is. Well, Iran has threatened to bomb the water desalination plants, and these are essential to the Middle East. This is crazy. Let us not forget, the Middle East is a desert. All of those nations are desert nations. No rivers to speak of, or lakes, aquifers, nothing that can replace what the desalination plants provide. Before those desalination plants, there was nothing, no industry. They had to do that before they really got their oil fields up and running. If they're going to bring in a bunch of people to run oil fields, oil derricks, industry, they needed water. It's coming in at number 2. It's water, second only to air. This is Casey Kasem. What do you need to live? Food coming in at number 3. It's very important to have water. Kuwait. Let's look at the Middle East here. Kuwait, 90% of all drinking water is from desalination. One strike, 0 water for the entire country of Kuwait. That is a humanitarian disaster of epic proportions. Oman, 86% dependent, no backup supply. How about Israel? 75% dependent, already the target of Iran's retaliation threats. Saudi is 70% dependent, largest desalination capacity in the world, which makes it the largest target. Bahrain, 60% dependent. Desalination plants already hit in the past 2 weeks. Qatar, 50% dependent. Their Ras Laffan energy complex already hit. United Arab Emirates, 50% dependent, home to some of the world's largest desalination plants. That is 100 million people who cannot survive without these desalination plants. Again, it's a desert nation. What are you going to do? So I do believe, if these numbers are right, these numbers, you betcha. If those numbers are right, that would be an incredible humanitarian disaster caused by Iran's bombing. How would the rest of the world, the U.S., of course, and the Middle East, all those nations we just talked about, respond to an Iran attack on one of the most necessary items for survival, one of the most basic, water? I don't know. Does Donald Trump's nuclear troll seem a little more legit after hearing that? And does Iran still have the capacity for such pinpoint bombing? I know they still have missiles left. They've been wreaking havoc on Tel Aviv with these missiles. Every night you see a few of them streaking down and hitting Tel Aviv. But it seems like they can target within an area. And I don't know. Look, I have the microphone firmly at the back of my pants right now. That's where I'm talking from, because I don't have any information on Iran's capacity to make war at this point in this conflict. But from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like they can pinpoint and bomb specific locations, or they'd be doing more of that. I think they can lob in missiles and hope for the best. So with that said, I don't know how accurate they can be striking specific water desalination plants. But if they do, it's going to be quite interesting to see how much this escalates just from that. Trump he doesn't give a crap at this point about what people think. Even a lot of MAGA people were saying, well, the promise of no wars, and this is, you reneged on that promise, and it's just boosting fuel prices, and it's going to cost American lives. It has already. But he doesn't seem to care about polls and how's he doing. He did in his first term, and he did during his campaign into the second term. But I think he's really going for the gusto on this one. And, good or bad, he's going to do what he's going to do. Now, I don't know if that includes nuclear weapons. I can't even believe we're discussing this. When that little buzzer went off and they forced us to go under the desks in elementary school when I was a kid, because you never knew, the Russians or the Chinese were going to lob a few over the top and hit us. And it was pretty scary. Like, as a child, you didn't really know what was happening. You just heard, oh, yeah, there's this country that wants to kill all of us, and every so often you got to go under your desk lest you be blown up. It was pretty frightening to grow up in that environment. I think we're in more of a threat right now for some type of nuclear exchange than we were back then. Back then, it was probably some kind of a clerical error that could have caused it. Some archaic computer, a misunderstanding. You know, what happened with the Cuban Missile Crisis kind of a thing. People get heated, but common sense wins out in the end, because it was between people of common ethics. Even though it's Russian, they didn't want their whole country nuked. We didn't want our whole country nuked. Cooler heads prevailed. Iran doesn't have cooler heads. And I don't know. You think Trump might want to be the first president to nuke another country in 80 years or so? Maybe. I don't know. Hey, take that happy one into this break with you. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right to JD in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. JD, what's up?
Shalom, Anthony.
Shalom.
Shabbat. I have a question about the Second Amendment. Do you see maybe one day, say, somewhere down the trough of like
Casino? I always like that line in Casino. Maybe you could give him something somewhere down the trough.
No, I'm sorry. He's too incompetent.
I love that line, man. It's so good. Anyway, continue, JD.
Somewhere where it could be countrywide instead of like I have a permit for my state of Pennsylvania, and it's I could go into certain states and other states I can't. But
yep.
Do you see it maybe where you could go to any state and not get hassled?
That'd be great. You know, a national carry license. Certain law enforcement members are allowed to do that. And yeah, I would love to see that. Maybe some type of proficiency test. And I hate to even think like that, but it would never get done without the other side having some say over the protocol and the conditions of getting a federal license like that. I don't see it happening also because I don't even think the Republicans would go for something like that. It gives away too much that they could bargain with the other side. If you could constantly bargain with the Democrats, the liberals, about the Second Amendment, well, how about you give us this, give us that? If they just gave us everything, then they lose a bargaining chip on other things. So I don't know. I would love to see it. I think that is exactly what the founding fathers meant when they talked about shall not be infringed and the right to bear arms. I absolutely think they meant if you go from one state to another, yeah, you are able to take your gun with you. It would be ridiculous to see the founding fathers go, oh, well, you're leaving Massachusetts? Well, you can't come into Connecticut with that. So, yeah, I would love to see it, JD.
Hey, before I know you're busy, so I will leave you now. But before I go, I got a great name for your show.
Oh, yes, better than the Anthony Cumia Show. Go ahead.
The I Dream of Genie Show. That'd be a good show.
Wow, you are pulling him out of the bag. That was Bill Mickey Rooney
Bill.
and Bill from 1980, I believe. Boy, you're good. You put in a few movie references during our little conversation here, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed, JD. Take it easy, bro. That's some peripheral movie references there. I appreciate a good movie reference. I am one of the most annoying people to watch a movie with because I'm constantly going, oh, that's the guy from the episode of The Twilight Zone where he was left on the planet and they brought him like a robot woman, a robot. But, yeah, I'm that guy. And I'm so proud of myself when I come up with something that's really obscure. That's all I have. Let me bask in that. Could you please? Could you please let me bask in that a little bit? One more kind of tied into what we just talked about. Steve from the Isle of Manhattan. What's up, Steve?
All right, Anthony. And you know what they're singing in Iran right now, right?
What is
California, here I come. They just caught two or three Iranian migrants. Who knows when they got here? Robbing like $20 million worth of merchandise and trying to sell it and send it out of California somewhere around the world. Yeah, this is insanity what's going on. And they are chipping away, like you are correct, with your Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I'm going to throw a stat out there that no one's ever thrown out. Since 1960, in New York City, hundreds of thousands of women have been raped. Now, if they were allowed to carry just like a nice little Saturday night special, like a 22 or 32, I think that number would be much, much lower.
Absolutely. It's
than it
the
is
great
today.
equalizer, Steve. It's the only tool that you can use that puts you on equal footing with the biggest, meanest guy. The most little, frail waif of a girl is on absolute equal footing with a giant monster when she has a gun and is proficient in using it. This should be mandatory, but no, it's not, because they don't want you safe. They want you running around saying, please keep me safe. I can't do it myself. And they swoop in and go, we'll keep you safe. Meanwhile, they don't. And then they ask many favors of you, votes to pass bills, polling. And what do you get in return? You get to walk around cities in fear for your life or worse, because they won't let you protect yourself. Terrible.
No, they've just about eliminated the Second Amendment. Unless if you live in some state that's really free country and you could, basically carry, and otherwise it's gone. We have foreigners now making laws inside of America, like Omar and all these other
Virginia,
clowns.
Steve. It was Virginia. It's a guy from Bangladesh. He came here in 1990, and he gets a seat of power and decides it's time to deny Americans their rights. He's not even from America, and he decided he's the guy. He's going to deny America their rights. I got to go, Steve. Thanks for the call. We're going to take another quick break, and then there's a few things left I want to talk about. Daytona Beach having a curfew, and a lot more. So don't you go anywhere. Back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you so much. We love your support. I was just looking at social media during the break, and this caught my eye. J.P. Morgan installing a Muslim foot washing station or stations at Rockefeller Center office. So all the bathrooms, I guess, have a Muslim foot washing station. According to a source, J.P. Morgan Chase is installing foot washing stations inside bathrooms at its Rockefeller Center office in Rockefeller Center. The source stated that the installations are intended to accommodate Muslim employees who wash their feet before prayer and practice associated with daily religious observance. So I'm looking at the picture of this thing. It certainly looks like a urinal. That's all, I can only imagine mistakes will be made. And again, like, why is it so complex? A religion that makes such inconvenience to people that aren't part of that religion is a burden. It's burdensome, I would think. Everything. They try to get pork out of the stores in certain Muslim majority communities. Praying in the middle of the street because it's a certain time. The call to prayer. In the middle of the night or 5 a.m. Middle of the night to me. And foot washing sinks having to be installed in bathrooms. And just why do we have to put up with so much garbage because somebody wants to worship their God? Like, if I didn't go to church, I wouldn't even know. You don't know. You walk around, you live your life, you live it as a nice person, a kind person, what have you. And then, Easter or Christmas, you go to church. That's your pal Anthony. It's just every minute of every day there's something going on that you now have to move out of the way for, or do this or give up that. Ah, God, enough already. Had it. So there you go. J.P. Morgan Chase putting in their foot washing stations. I don't know. Anytime you see them walking around in them sandals, it doesn't look like they're washing their feet. I'll tell you that much. And Memdani sitting down, breaking the Ramadan fast with all of his other Muslim friends and internet influencers. And there's people, some of them, most of them had socks on. They just take their shoes off and it's socks. But there's some of them, they're eating off the floor. And they're completely barefoot, like they're hairy, dirty hobbit feet, right next to where you're eating. Oh yeah, could you move your big toe? It's in my mashed potatoes. Your big toe seems to be in my mashed potatoes. No, it's not gross at all. Allahu Akbar. It's great. Yeah, I just don't see it. Let's look at, this is great. This is great. Jamie Quinn. This clip would be AC1. Jamie Quinn, she's a professional professor. Where is this one? Here it is. Here it is. An assistant professor of sociology at California State University, San Bernardino, specializing in sexualities, youth, that shouldn't even be together, sexualities, youth, and institutional inequalities. Oh, boy. You just know that's a load of laughs. She holds a Ph.D. from UT Austin and has been recognized for her work in social inequality. Okay. So her position is, assistant professor of sociology, and her research focus are sexual inequalities, social institutions, families, and, of course, youth. One of these advocates for chopping off healthy sexual organs. That's what you got going for yourself. And she sounds like a real, she is, am I saying this right? I don't want to be banned for wrong pronouns. So Jamie O'Quinn was talking about being a lesbian. And this, by the way, this is who's teaching. Your kids. When you send your kids off to college, this is an example of a professor. This is who will be teaching and massaging that young mind with some of the most degenerate garbage you'd ever want to hear. Let's listen to Jamie O'Quinn, shall we?
And the idea that I have to get up here and say that trans women are women and that's what I have to use my time to do is absurd. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. And shame on you for using lesbian politics as a front for your transphobia, because this lesbian has had plenty of girlfriends with penises.
So just a comment.
This lesbian has had plenty of girlfriends with a penis. How insane is that statement? How absolutely mental is a statement like that? How would you ever believe you were hearing that just a few years ago? Never mind many years ago. Could you imagine that it's the 80s, the 70s maybe? I don't know. And someone goes, this lesbian's had plenty of girlfriends with penises. And you gotta go, wait, what? I need an abacus to figure this out, first of all. Secondly, you are out of your bird. You are out of your mind insane. But that's what's going on. That's a teacher. That's a professor. You're paying money, tuition money, to send your child to get a higher education and possibly a better job. And this is who is standing in front of that room professing their knowledge to your kids. Sociology, it's been completely bastardized. You think that woman is going to give a fair shake to heterosexual men and their take on sexuality? Or do you think everything is going to be about her girlfriends with penises? I think the latter of the two, my friends. I don't think she cares one bit about teaching your kids anything but some of the most twisted garbage that they're going to be hearing. There should be, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'm going to come up with a deprogramming service. So your kid goes to college. Hopefully some good comes out of it. Maybe they're taking a business class, and the business class actually taught them business, and they could look for a job in some sector that needs someone with a business degree. And then everything else they've been taught for credits, and because their friend took the class, and because high school they were beaten over the head with this nonsense. And then Anthony Cumia has a service where they deprogram them. Like they get home and go, Mom, Dad, I'm home. Here's my diploma. Graduation was such a whoop. And then I come in and we just take them. Like in the 70s, there was a cult problem. Yeah, no kidding, kids. There was a cult problem in the 70s. A bunch of kids that had parents that were usually kind of well-to-do. I guess it was their way of rebelling at the time. And they would join a cult. And the cult would make them not contact their parents, give away all their personal possessions to the head guy at the cult. And they believed in this so much that they despised their parents. They despised the way they lived. They hated everything about the normal way of life in America. So the parents had to hire deprogrammers to kidnap the kids. In the middle of the night, they'd come into their bedroom And the mother would be going, oh, and the father's going, we're doing the right thing. And the kid's like, man, what are you doing, man? This is my life. And the kidnappers throw him in a van and take him to a location and spend a long time, weeks, maybe months, knocking that crap out of their head that they've been fed by the cult leader and the other people in the cult. Well, I don't see anything different. College, cult leader, Jamie Quinn, professor. It's all the same nonsense they're beating into these kids' heads. And I might have a good business idea here. I should go on Shark Tank. Well, sharks, here's what I'm thinking. You know the tards that you're raising that actually believe these professors in college? Well, sharks. All right, we'll be back. Stick around. Yeah, thanks.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right to the phones. Max, also in Manhattan. Max, what's up?
Anthony, thank you for
Phone's screwing up a little bit. Uh-oh. Your phone is all screwy. It's crackling.
You're kidding. Is that
Might
better?
be okay now. All right, go ahead and speak. Well, it's a little muffled now. It's a little muffled now.
How about now? Is that better?
What the hell are you doing? We'll try this. Go ahead, Max.
Okay. Part of the reason we're told that we're in Iran is to defend Western civilization. But I'm wondering when I hear that, how come we're not defending Western civilization in Plano, Texas, where Epic City is taking over and where we have 330 mosques?
Yeah, Max, I got to tell you, you make a good point, but they like saying that everyone is different. And for some reason, when you come to America, magic happens. All of a sudden, you don't have this want or need to destroy the country and hate all of Americans that are traditionally American. They think that some magic spell is cast over them when they leave their crap hole country and come here. It's not.
Yes.
They don't like you. They don't want to assimilate to your way of life. You must assimilate to theirs or bye-bye. We don't want you. They get these little enclaves like in Minnesota, Minneapolis. They serve only their own people there. They contribute nothing to the greater good of the entire country. They're in this little bubble that looks just like Somalia in Minneapolis. And then they go, oh, no, they're so great. They come here to America and live a life as Americans. They make a better life for themselves. They make the exact life they made for themselves in the crap hole they came from. Except the one thing is they could rip the country off now. They could rip the taxpayers off, and they don't get their head chopped off like they would in Somalia.
Yes. And do you remember on 42nd Street they were talking about Americans being imperialists?
Yeah, we hear that all the time, sure.
Okay, but so my argument here is, Egypt was originally 95% Christian, and the Muslims took it over, and they have not given it back. Look at Constantinople. It was taken over in 1453. It was originally Christian. The Turks took it over, and they have not given it back. So maybe that's a form of imperialism, you think?
Yeah, and it doesn't. They never give it back. They have to be defeated in order to take it back. You have to defeat them. It's the only way it's ever worked through history. I don't know how people can look at history, look at a religion like Islam that has not changed one iota in thousands of years and think the result is going to be different when they pour into your country, that somehow now they're going to be tolerant of your religion and let you live your life in peace, practicing a different religion. No, it's never been that way. It never will be that way. And to keep inviting them in is suicidal.
Yes, yes. Your imitations of Jesse Ventura and Trump and Bob Grant, they really spice up the show. Please do it more often.
I will. Thank you, Max. I do appreciate compliments. Take it easy, my friend. He goes, Max, Manhattan. I don't know how he does it. You know, you talk to people, I talk to people here on the show, and they're from Manhattan and Queens, New York, and all I could think is, like, how are you still there? You must have the greatest job ever that you cannot possibly tear yourself away from. Because I just don't get it. That guy seems reasonable, sensible guy. And he's got to deal with Zoran Mamdani and Kathy Hochul with the taxing. And look, if he winds up making a lot of money, accruing a lot of wealth in his life, he wants to live in a place where they might take half your stuff. So you can't give it to your children. You have to give it to Zoran Mamdani or whatever other communist is in place in a few years. I find it very hard to believe we will ever see a straight, white, male mayor of New York City again. Ever. I just don't see it. The demographic doesn't spell out that we will ever see that again. It spells out it's got to be a person of color. It's got to be gay guy or girl. It's got to be a Muslim, a communist. I think that's it. I think we're done seeing that in New York City. Good luck. And speaking of certain subsectors of the country, Daytona Beach. Oh, boy. Has that been a hoot, watching some of those videos over the course of the past week or so. It's spring break. Look out. What are the teens doing down in spring break? Are they trying to see how many people they could fit in a phone booth? Is that the crazy shenanigans they're doing? Are they having a pie-eating contest? Huh? Maybe a swimming challenge on the beach? Something like that? Can you carry an egg, a hard-boiled egg, in a tablespoon, holding it in your mouth? What are the kids doing these days? Oh, right. They're robbing, assaulting, vandalizing, raping, and murdering. Yeah. That's a good break from the rigors of school. Isn't it? I think so. Daytona Beach has implemented a temporary 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. youth curfew for anyone under 18 in the beachside area starting March 20th, a couple of days ago, for 1 week following spring break chaos. The emergency order prohibits minors from being in public places during these hours, with the exceptions for work or being with a guardian. Yeah. This is the some people ruin it for everyone thing. We see this happening more and more. We see having to make certain concessions because certain people, certain groups of people will not control themselves. And things end up getting violent. Like I said, vandalism, assaults, sexual assaults, even gunfire and death go down, man. And everyone has to pay for it. I don't see any exceptions except work or being a guardian. How about exempting the people that aren't doing this from the curfew? Well, let's see. Who's doing this? Oh, wow. It seems like young black men, mostly. Women, too. Young teens. Teen minorities, let's say. I don't know how else to put it. So everyone has to pay. Everyone. Same thing with CVS locking up everything. Well, who's doing this? Doesn't matter. Everyone has to pay. Same thing with schools. oh, we used to have an exceptional student class. But some people aren't very exceptional. So what do? Lower the bar so everyone has to attend classes that the people that aren't very exceptional can get through. And that's what we do. We continue to lower the bar until what's left? We all have to act like idiots, or we all are not allowed to do things. I remember going to amusement parks and the county fairs and things like that. And one of the greatest things about it was independence. You're a kid, maybe you're 15, 16 years old. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a girl in the pack of young people from school you're hanging out with. And it was great. Your parents weren't there. You were alone. You had a couple of bucks in your pocket. You felt independent. And you were out with your friends. It was this little step toward adulthood and what that might bring in the future. The ability to be unattended and have fun. That's gone. Now, because some people can't control themselves, then some people won't be able to get those moments in their teen years where they do that and enjoy themselves. It's disgusting. All right, we'll be back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And we're going to talk a little about Cuba. Cuba. Ricky Ricardo. That's my education. The education I got as a child about Cuba came from Ricky Ricardo on I Love Lucy. That was about it. That was it. I was a kid. I loved it. Yep. Cuba. Forget the Havana and come to... Forget the mañana and come to Havana with me. My horse and carriage is for hire, senora. For just as long as you desire, senorita. Yeah, Ricky used to sing. Used to sing on that show, and you'd watch as a kid, watching some Cuban guy sing, and it was great. But Cuba, not so good these days. Not so good. They are, of course, communist country. Commies run it, Fidel Castro, and then after him, who knows, who cares. But they are really on the skids these days. Within the past couple of days, their power went out. How they even had power in the first place. I picture an old Chevy, a 57 Chevy with a belt around the rear tire powering some archaic generator. And that finally gave out. So now they don't have power. The people have been living in gross poverty over the course of decades now, generations. And Trump has hinted, hey, we might be able to work something out. I'm a developer. I know how to build resorts. If you guys come to the table, we could probably make Cuba in a few years one of the number one destinations, tourist destinations down there in the Caribbean. And some people, it seems, in Cuba are for this. They kind of like the idea. Others not so much. But, I mean, you got, in any communist government, you have the power structure, and they're living fine. Their lights are on, I'm sure. They're getting good food, good drink. But the masses, the vast majority of Cubans are living in very crappy circumstances. So Trump has said, let's work something out. There is an embargo against Cuba. That's why we can't get Cuban cigars here. You can. But you're not supposed to be able to. And some people, a bunch of libs, they don't like Trump. They think Trump is hurting hurting Cuba with his actions. These actions have been in place for quite some time. They change a little from here to there during certain administrations, but for the most part, since before Kennedy, Cuba's been the way it's been. Not good for the people. Communism is not good for the people. So this Code Pink, this group Code Pink, decided to go to Cuba, and these look like people that are very well-to-do. If you could somehow afford to go to Cuba, especially as an American, I think you have to go to Canada first, and then from Canada you're able to fly to Cuba. But you cannot just fly to Cuba. Maybe you can these days. Did they open direct flights maybe under Obama? I'm not sure. I've never been. So these people, they look like they got money. And they went down to Cuba to protest, to demonstrate their displeasure with Donald Trump and their support for the Cuban people. This is so mindless. These people have no idea what's going on, and they honestly believe that they're doing the right thing. From the videos I saw, it's like they went on a safari. It's like when you go to Africa and you go onto the plains of the Serengeti in a Land Rover and you go, look, a lion. Oh, a giraffe. Look at that. That's the vibe I'm getting from these rich snobs going to Cuba and looking at the impoverished from these giant, like, tram vehicles, like vehicles you'd get for the Universal Studio Tour. And there they are, down in Cuba, bashing Trump and supporting the Cuban people by going down there for a couple of days, wandering around. And it's pathetic. This is AC4, one of the women who are there talking about the trip.
We're here in the Havana Jose Marti Airport. This is just one part of the donations that we brought. There's 6,500 pounds donations. The value is about $500,000. It's a drop in the bucket for what Cuba needs, but it's a show of our solidarity with the people of Cuba and our opposition to what Trump is doing to try to strangle the Cuban people into submission.
Cuba si bloqueo no. Cuba si bloqueo no.
So I just got this feeling deep inside. Oh, I thought it was the song. All right, you could stop it there. They don't know what they're doing. They think they're helping because they're saying Trump bad. Trump is strangling them. The government has been strangling the people of Cuba for decades. Decades upon decades. It's not Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was doing anything to strangle the Cuban people, so was every other president after what? Eisenhower? It's ridiculous. But they honestly think, and what's going to help? Charity? We've got food. We're bringing food down. Like they give you a bag of seeds when you're at a zoo or some food. You get it out of the gumball machine and you could feed the goats. That's what they're doing. And I bet they feel so good about themselves. Oh, the virtue signaling. They come back to America and talk about how they fed the Cubans. Oh, you should have seen the little children. They were so cute in their little tattered clothes. And I was throwing food into their mouth. One of them waved. That's the attitude. How about Donald Trump is actually trying to work with the government to get industry in Cuba, business, tourism, anything where they could become self-sufficient. So dummy dweebs like you don't have to go down there and feed the Cubans. How about that? Cubans have a great work ethic. You go to Miami and Cubans are working, they work so hard. They're not given the opportunity to work in Cuba. Given that opportunity, I think in very short time, Cuba could be an amazing country. Amazing. But the government has been strangling the people, not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. Here's another clip from these, I don't even know what to call them. AC5, let's listen.
I am helping to leave a gift and vision of humanidad. This is the mural for humanity, and it's going to have little boats with notes in it of love, and it will, the words will go across all the way to the bird on the other side. There'll be fishes and sea life here, and it's from a poem with artists from all over the United States.
So if you couldn't hear it, that idiot was very excited that the people that went were painting a mural. She's up on a little ladder. There's a wall that they're painting a mural of sea life and birds. And there'll be a place to leave notes of love. Notes of love. That's going to help. How clueless are some of these people? These are your really, really ridiculously stupid liberals. Dumb liberals who have a few bucks and they don't know what to do with themselves. And then they hear Donald Trump saying, Cuba would be nice. And you go, well, I got to get down to Cuba now because Trump is trying to hurt them too, like he's trying to hurt us here in America. So we'll go down and tell people, don't worry about Trump. We'll help you. We'll save you. We'll paint a mural with notes of love and throw little treats into your youngsters' faces instead of trying to work with a failed communist government that has oppressed its people for generations and maybe open up something in Cuba that the people can benefit from. And then you got these retards. Code Pink. Code Pink. Wow. Let's go to the phones here. This is Pete from Staten Island. What's up, Pete?
Hey, Anthony, how are you doing? You were talking about the 70s and all the cults and everything.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the 70s, you know. We lived in Brooklyn on Avenue U and Nostrand Avenue. And we moved out to a little summer bungalow, which had 3 acres of land. So we moved out, and the back of the house was on the beach. So we had our own private beach. So it was really good.
Sounds nice.
Everybody else was traveling down the Jersey Shore, and we'd go outside and we'd be right in the water. But only problem, the water's a little polluted. Yeah. And it's better now, but back in the 70s, it really wasn't that good for swimming.
No, back then they really, they try to clean things up around New York City. Even the Hudson River is a lot cleaner than it was back in the 70s. So, yeah, I can only imagine what that beach was like in the 70s.
Right, but we had like horseshoe crabs and all kinds of things there that everybody liked. You could go clamming, and if you wanted to go crabbing, you could go crabbing there, because with the crabs and stuff, it really didn't matter.
It was great because with all the chemicals in the water, you got 4 claws per crab, so you cook them up.
That's true. That's true. But it was a different time, Like vacation was our yard, 3 acres. Everybody come over, fig trees, grapevine, blueberries, you name it.
Old school. I love it. That's how it was, man.
Today it's all built up. They put like 6 houses there. We've got memories of it. And we took a couple of branches from the fig trees and, I planted it where I moved to. And with a lot of topsoil and stuff, they grow pretty good. So
it actually works.
Basically, have those memories,
Good for you, Pete. Yeah, that's what it's come to. That's what it's all about. And it's not a bad thing to have great memories. It's just sometimes you get nostalgic about them, especially when you see things swirling down the drain and you remember, a better time, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what gets me by. I'm locked in the 70s. I'm into the music of Linda Ronstadt and Carly Simon and everybody. And I had the pleasure of dating some of them because I was in the theater business. I was as a stagehand, and I started in the early 70s. But
can you give me a name? Who'd you date?
Oh, well, I dated
Liberace.
The first one that I dated. No, the first one, Liberace. I used to tune his piano like that because I had perfect.
Better to tune Liberace's piano than his organ.
Than his organ. That's right. That suits it. Yeah. Well, I was basically around 30 Rock because that was my headquarters at NBC. But then I worked in the legitimate theater. But the first one that I dated I was close friends with Peter Allen because he had a Broadway show, The Boys from Oz.
Oh, yeah.
And I was only working a year in the business, and he put me in charge of it. I had like 150 men under me that were all older than me.
I bet he had 150 men under him, too. He was a little flamboyant.
They were all over the place. but he had Liza Minnelli. That was his girl. He was married.
No way. You didn't go out with Liza Minnelli, did you?
I did.
Wow.
And she was wonderful. She was such a pleasant person, so professional.
That's
huge.
huge.
Like that, I could tune guitars by ear. I could tune pianos and stuff. And basically, that's what I used to do.
You use your ear to tune guitars?
And then I used the front end.
You used your ear. Pete. I'm screwing with you, Pete. I could wax fantastic with you all night here, Pete, but I gotta go. Thanks for the call, my friend. Little memories. Yeah, you get nostalgic. And I guess to an extent it happens to every generation. You get older, you look at what's going on in the world. You're not part of it. You're not in the demographic, as they say. And it makes you feel like, things were better in the old days. And to some extent they were. But to some extent it's an illusion. It's you're just not part. You're not integral to what's going on today in the now. It's very hard to keep current with everything. I think the first thing people notice that slips is music. Growing up, I was always into whatever newer music was coming out. Not as much as my sister was. She was in the late 70s when I was, Zeppelin and Southern rock, Charlie Daniels, Molly Hatchet, things like that. She was getting into new wave pop and things like that. And I was like, what is this garbage? This is terrible. And then I learned to like it. And I always was pretty up to date with what was going on musically. Then you just hit a wall at one point. Like the turn of the century from 99 to 2000, bam, the wall was hit, and that was it. I didn't care. I was stuck on Alice in Chains and Nirvana and Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. That's where I stopped. And to this day, when I, make a little Apple radio station and add music to it when I'm going to be doing something, it does not venture any further than 1999. And that's kind of the first thing that goes. And then you find yourself liking less and less of what's going on nowadays. So I understand, my friend. It's not easy. But then, kids will always say things like, you're just old. At some point you're going to go, damn it. I guess I am. But I like the fact that these days you can use your iPhone or what have you to get whatever music you want. You're not a slave to listening to whatever, because it would be oldies, which is hard to deal with nowadays too, because, oh, let me turn on the oldies station. Oh, that's good. It's Pearl Jam. That's good. Even Flow is an oldies song. Son of a... That's what happens, though. All right, don't you move. We'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and got to go to the phones, because what Sunday would be complete without Susan? What's up, Susan? How are you, dear?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's pretty crazy times here, but I was just thinking about Islamists are, peaceful religion, Sharia law. They call that peaceful.
Yes, Sharia
women's
law.
Eyes out and torturing them for showing their hair, or stoning them,
Susan,
killing them.
Susan, could I ask you something? Do you live under sangria law? Because it sounds tonight, maybe you're practicing sangria law. Continue, dear.
Oh, no, I don't like sangria. It's too sweet. I like a little dry roast.
Come on, you didn't hang out at Beefsteak Charlie's or one of those places, get the big pitcher of sangria with your friends at 16 years old, because they served anyone back then. Charlie O's.
Drinking age was 18.
Certainly was, Susan.
And I survived it by some miracle. But no, the Sharia law, you had a caller before that was saying, like, we're so upset. Of course, we want to see the good Persian people. I mean, so I was 25 when the, Iran hostages. So the women who were 25 in Iran have had to live their whole life under this torturous.
Right.
And, I do feel so compelled to see them. Now, I just heard something very encouraging that when, Reagan said, tear down this wall.
Yes.
And it took like 3 months before the people really felt like they could go out without getting slaughtered. And so I'm hopeful that maybe behind the scenes that we're getting arms to the people, and that in time we'll be able to really see that in the near future, that they can become treated and have.
Yeah, as we've learned, Susan, it's very difficult to make people fight for their own freedom. They have to want it themselves, get out and do it themselves. It never works. It's just, I don't think there's one case where we've gone in and said, hey, people, don't you love democracy? And here's some guns, here's some strategy, here's some advisors. Let's go in there and win one for the Gipper. And then what happens? It falls apart, and they rule with an iron fist even longer and stronger. So I don't see that happening. I don't even see an inkling of the Iranian people rising up to take advantage of their government being pounded here.
Trump told them, don't come out yet. It's not safe.
Oh, he did?
They were out.
Stay home. Lot of bombs. Big, huge bombs. All right. Susan. Hey, thank you, dear. I always enjoy your calls every Sunday. It's like talking to my Nana. It reminds me of talking to my Nana. How you doing, Anthony? I've had a few banana Zacharys. No, I love you, Susan. Don't worry about it. Hey, how about this? Mayor Johnson in, of course, I almost said what I say on my internet show. I say S-H-I, Chicago. Only, yeah, you get it. Chicago's just a mess. It's a prime example of a big city run by Democrats, racist Democrats, as I see it. Mayor Johnson recently, just the other day, I think, had a little speech about the fire department in Chicago and how he wants black firefighters. That's it. He just wants a big showing on his Chicago Fire Department of black firefighters. Probably women, probably lesbian women, black lesbian women, maybe. But white men need not apply, regardless if you're qualified. And you would think, man, firefighters, you would think that is one of the jobs that you do not want diversity, equity, and inclusion telling you who should be in that position. You want the best person for the job. If you're in a smoke-filled room 5 stories up and there's fire around you and you know you don't have a minute left and some little waify woman comes in, oh, well, she got the job, DEI. As long as it's not a white cis male. Meanwhile, this bruiser could come in and haul your ass out of there. I just want the best person for the job, irregardless of their color. Oh, Jesus Christ. But, yeah. But now, what do we got? DEI putting people in positions that they're not as qualified for as someone else that isn't on the DEI list. So anyway, that's what Johnson's been doing. But here he is talking about, again, an ICE ban. Got to ban ICE. AC3.
Today, we are signing an executive order.
Of course you are.
Aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
Why? That's the law. That's the federal law. That's what ICE is doing. Taking orders from the President of the United States, and you say, no, we don't need that. Meanwhile, the bodies stack up in Chicago. But nice set of priorities he's got there in Chicago, Mayor Johnson, signing executive orders to keep ICE from doing their job. It's terrible. But that's who you voted for. All right, people, we will see you right back here next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Anthony Cumia on X, if you want to keep tabs on me until next Sunday when I see you again.
Thanks for listening to the Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear the Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.